Hi there. In this brief video, I'm going to try to show you how we can use a fluid budget. In this way, what we're going to do is come up with what's left over and then use an if then else statement to just write so some students can write a message to themselves if they happen to be over or under budget. Okay, so first things first, what I'd like to do is decide, well, what is left over? So what I could do is make sure that I have all my items here under income, and I only have one item at the moment, but maybe there could be more. So what I'd like to do is make sure that these cells here get added up so that I have, let's say B, and this is in reference. So I can actually just click on B. Oops, let me go back. So I have to do an equal sign, first things first, and then I can just click on B3, or I can physically type it, that's up to you, plus, and then now I'm gonna add the next one and the next one. Okay, so I want to make sure I add those three cells. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually subtract the sum of the next cells. So this is going to be this one plus this. And then again, I'm going to add these two just in case there's any other expenses that come up for the month. And then close off that bracket. Same idea with the savings. If I'm going to put that aside, that's not going to be what's left over. So I'm just going to now add up our values, so this plus this. So in my mind, this is very much like these cell references are variables. So this is back to if you're looking at your curriculum expectations, this is where we can talk about using the variables in terms of coding. And because you know that, because what happens here is, of course, if this is left over is $220, as my job, let's say, changes, and let's say I only make $300 for that month, you will see that now my value has changed. So this is really a variable because these values can change at any time. They are not constants, which is why I love using the cell references rather than typing in the numbers physically. So that's that connection. So now what if students want to have something alerted? Now, in another video on the coding website, I do have it where you can do the built-in conditional statements within Google Sheets. But in this case, I wanted to show you how students could actually program an if then else statement. So this is how it works. So they can decide where they want it. And I'm going to maybe just put it right here. Again, an equal sign will start this off. And if I just start typing in the word if, and again, in spreadsheets, they are not, you do not need to have capitalization. So in some programming languages, it's very specific. So I can have lowercase or I can have uppercase. And in this case, I am just going to keep it uppercase. So if. And what I want to do is now the situation is for the if statement, if this condition is met, then this is going to happen or else. Okay, so let's set the situation. Well, what do I want? So if, let's say, this cell or leftover cell is greater than or equal to 0. If that's the situation, then I'm going to so put a comma. So now you see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little tiny grayed out little kind of space where it says it's like expecting some information here. So the right up here is now, this is the condition. And if it's met, then the next thing I type here is going to happen. And now when you want a message to be typed out, you want a thing called a string to be displayed. And in order to have a string to be displayed, we have to put quotation marks. So quotation mark, and now I can type in anything I want. So I could say, if it's over or greater than 0, it's like, my budget is balanced. Okay? Now, close the quotation marks, comma. This is the last part of this. This will be the else situation. So if the condition is not met, if that value there for B16 is not greater than or equal to 0, this will be an else situation. So if it's an else situation in this case, that would mean you are not balanced. So my budget is not balanced. Okay, so that could be our two messages. And now if you notice in the, excuse me, what we should do, and they did it automatically for us, I just wanted to draw your attention where I had an open bracket, and I should always have a closed bracket, and automatically fix that for me so I didn't get an error, which is lovely. So when I do hit enter now, we have it, my budget is not balanced, as it should be. And I can even format this cell so that it's like, let's say, a different color. And this will be regardless of the message. It's going to still have this formatting. So even whether you're balanced or not, this is formatting the content in this cell. So what I might want to do now is like, okay, well, let's play with this, see if it works. So what if my job income, now I make the $600, and you can see now my message has now changed that my budget is balanced. And that way the students can carry this over, change the values when need be. What I would suggest maybe at this point then is copy this, paste it, now do it for February. And nothing's changed. Like, this is still going to be the same situation. But again, because these are variables, they can now change the values to meet that monthly situation. And then this will update to allow them to know whether they're balanced or not. All right, so I hope this helps with learning how to do if, then, else statements in Google Sheets.